Hear ye, hear ye, hear ye. Welcome one and all to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. Now, I didn't know why Cole was little for a second, but he's back. And you already know we are happy to be back with you all for another week to tell you what's happening in the world of video games. Again, you can find us on your favorite podcast service. Watch us live on Twitch, and that's on Saturdays, of course. You can find us on YouTube. And with all that being said, I want to introduce my other Duke here. First and last foremost, he's our law expert, headband expert, business expert, but more importantly, he is our Duke of Rocket League. Cole, how are you this week?
Good. I did trivia tonight, cartoon trivia. Didn't get first place, got third place. 90s cartoons. It was pretty fun. And I've been playing our game of the year, Returnal. So I got some thoughts on that.
Before we get to Returnal, what was the hardest question on that trivia?
See, for me, it was a SpongeBob SquarePants question because I had never watched that show.
You should have had me there. Ooh, you should have had me there.
Look, that's right up your alley.
It would have been a tag in. I would have got you.
It was after my time. Okay, I'll ask you the question.
Okay.
Because this is the one. So my cousin was there and his wife was there. The question was, who are the two SpongeBob superheroes that he looks up to? What are their names?
Mermaid Man and Barnacle Boy.
That's it. We didn't. We put Captain Underpants.
Oh, that's childhood right there, man. Mermaid Man, and it's these two old guys too. It's like,
okay, here's another one. Okay. What about who is the dinosaur character on Rugrats?
Reptar.
Yep, good job. So those were the ones. The final question was who was the nemesis of Foghorn from Looney Tunes? Foghorn was the big chicken in Looney Tunes, really old cartoon.
Yeah, no, I remember Foghorn. Was it? Who was that?
It was a dog. I'll tell you that.
It was a dog?
You got to know the name of the dog, though.
See, I was about to say it was Yosemite Sam. Okay, so it was a dog. There's a dog in Looney Tunes?
No one got this right in the whole restaurant. No one got this right.
I feel like maybe like my mom liked Looney Tunes, so maybe she would know. But
the dog was George P. Dog.
Okay, that's unfair. No one.
Okay, here's another one.
Lost the time.
Last one. We knew this one.
Okay.
where did Bugs Bunny always lose directions to turn left? That was the question. He always missed a left turn. Where did he always miss the left turn? And this was
Like
like a recurring theme through Bugs Bunny cartoons. This is a tough one. See, I feel like this is kind
where?
of before your time.
See, because the thing is, like, I watched Looney Tunes, but Looney Tunes were the thing that I would wait for the other, like, they'd be on. I'm like, I'm waiting for the others cartoons to come on.
Yeah, exactly.
So I never really like that was not my generation. So
Yeah,
well, it's
so
not
that
yours either.
yeah, not really. Yeah, no. I mean, we watched it more, but it was like probably pre-80s. Actually, it was old. So Looney
Yeah,
Tunes
it's,
is really
what's
old.
that? They have like war cartoons, like when
Yeah,
they're in World
yeah.
War II.
The answer to that was Albuquerque, and my cousin knew that one,
Oh my
which is
gosh,
crazy. It was
he's a
crazy.
real one.
Yeah, yeah. But yeah, it was good. It was good. It was a fun time.
That's cool. Maybe one day we'll do some gaming trivia.
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
that'd be fun.
yeah, for
But
sure.
with all that being said, as always, we have to start with the age-old gamer question. And we'll start with you, Cole. And you kind of mentioned it before. What are you playing this week?
Returnal. And I got back into Returnal because I was playing Rocket League. I glanced through my friends list, and who do I see? Thomas playing Returnal. So I
Was.
messaged him. I said, "You want to play co-op?" Because I knew the co-op update was out. So I was like, "Okay, let's try it." So we hopped on. We tried it. It was super fun. It was way more fun than I remember Returnal being. And then that night was my introduction back to Returnal. And then I've been playing it ever since, single player. But we got to hop back in and play multiplayer again.
Yeah, we got to.
Which we had some very intense gaming sessions on there. We had a few games where we were like, it was down to the wire. We made it out. But it was really fun. It was awesome. I think they do multiplayer well. The revive mechanic is awesome. Well, we talked about this before, but the way that you collect, you have to divvy up all the items is pretty cool. I don't know. It just adds a whole nother element to the game that makes it a lot more enjoyable for me.
I agree. I enjoyed Returnal a great deal when it came out, for sure. Like, I had nothing, like, I was okay with it being our game of the year, even though I never finished it. But I don't know. I feel like my best session with Returnal was when I played with you, because it just added a different layer to the game. And there's something to it's not to say it's like misery enjoys company, you know. It's like, so when it's like, it's one thing where I die by myself and I'm just, there's no one to be mad at but myself, you know, and there's nobody to, you know, share in my pain besides myself. But at least when I'm playing with somebody else, it's like, all right, we both went through this traumatic experience together. Let's restart this. Let's go.
Yeah, and the timing was perfect. Like, I mean, it sent you back just the way you do in single player, and we're immediately back together at the start. We don't have to resync up. We don't have to rejoin the game. That was awesome, because Dark Souls doesn't do that. When you die, you gotta go through the whole process of getting back together.
You do. It's,
you know,
that's always annoying, and throughout all of the games. And I feel like it's gotten better. I think Elden Ring probably has the easiest implementation out of all of them. It's still not the greatest.
Yeah,
Returnals felt seamless. It felt seamless, and it was not there originally, and they added it. And I'm always impressed by stuff like that, because that's a big update. I mean, I'm sitting here waiting for my beta code for Halo Infinite co-op, you know. So it's like, co-op is not always guaranteed. It's not always guaranteed to be implemented well. And with
that kind of led us to having the conversation when we were playing, how awesome it would be if the next Returnal was a games as a service, or if it played on that fact that maybe a 4-player co-op with different builds, and you know, you go through the procedural generation and it's more of a team game. I think that'd be awesome.
I'd love it. I think you'd love it too. I think that it would be something that would bring uniqueness to PlayStation, because there's no game like that currently on PlayStation right now. I would love that. I think that Housemarque is definitely one of their more underrated studios, and Returnal, while I still don't think it's their best game, it's technically their best game. Like, they've never made a game with the scope of Returnal.
Yes, they're most ambitious and probably most impressive, even though it may not be your favorite.
Yeah, but I mean, and that's to say, like, it could become my favorite if I actually roll credits.
Yeah, I mean, if we keep playing like this, I mean, I really enjoyed that second biome, and I've never got to it by myself. So
The
I
crazy
was
thing is that was
enjoying
the
it.
fourth biome.
Oh, was it?
Yeah, that was the fourth biome.
Why did we go there? Because we did that thing where we skipped.
It was easier to go to the fourth than the
That's right.
second because
Because we had
remember
to beat the boss. That's right.
our health was like
Yeah.
not the greatest. We both looked at each other like we might as well just go to the fourth one since we're gonna die to this boss anyways. So, and look, I think that even in that experience of us dying, it was still better than playing by yourself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Almost like I wish that the game was like branded as a co-op game.
me too, man.
Almost, I feel like we would have approached it a lot differently.
Yeah.
And then if it was just if you had the choice to do co-op or single player, people have been surprised like, oh, you could just run through the single player by yourself if you want that.
Mm-hmm.
So
Mm-hmm.
I think that Returnal is a great case study in if you can support co-op, do it.
Yep.
I feel like not every game needs co-op, but I feel like Returnal is one of those ones where it's really arcadey in a lot of ways.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that it kind of lends itself to that.
Mm-hmm.
So I think we can get through this before July's over.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
For sure.
Anything else you've been playing?
No, that's it.
All right. So I kind of talked about what I was playing on the stream, and again, you can watch our streams every Saturday. Usually starts at 10 p.m. 9 p.m. Eastern Standard. Sometimes a little later. But I was talking about there. I was playing a little bit of everybody's golf. I keep wanting to say every day's golf, but everybody's golf. Playing a little bit of that. But the game I want to talk about that I've been playing a little bit of that I've gone back to is Fallout 4.
Would it Ben get you wanting to play that? Talking about Fallout 6 and watching him last week?
Partially, like he definitely did like spark my mind of, oh, I like Fallout. I forgot about that. Fallout 3 is one of my favorite experiences because that was the first time I ever got to like play in a fictionalized version of like one of my hometowns.
That's
Just
awesome.
seeing DC in this like apocalyptic wasteland was very surreal as like a 12-year-old kid. And so I've always loved Fallout since then. Fallout 4, I remember liking, not loving. And I remember a lot of it was due to how it performed on PlayStation 4. It was very choppy. It was a 30 frames per second, which I found was acceptable at the time, but obviously going back to that now with games how they look now, it's just nah, it doesn't look good. And I believe it still runs at 30 frames on PlayStation 5. So I decided I'm just gonna play it on PC and see what it runs like and put it at max settings and see what it looks like. And it looks good enough that I'm probably gonna play it to completion again. I'm probably gonna beat this game again. And that's sad because that's a lot of time that's gonna be gone. But I forgot how much I like Fallout. And Fallout 4 to me, I wouldn't call it better than Fallout 3 per se, but it just looks a lot better. It's a more modern game. And playing it at 4K 60 is something I've never experienced before. So I don't know. Have you played Fallout 4 in the past?
Yeah, I played a few hours. I didn't. I got to the Red Sox stadium.
Okay.
Is that right? Is that what it was? Or the baseball stadium?
I don't think it's the Red Sox, but I know you're talking about. I know where you're
It's the
talking
Red.
about.
Fallout 4 is set in Boston, right?
Yes.
Yeah, so it was the Red Sox stadium.
Yes,
Remember,
you're right. Yeah.
there's like a little town.
That's
where,
more so. I don't know baseball shit.
Oh, okay.
It's more so that. Where it's like I don't. Is the Red Sox in Boston? I think so. Okay.
It was one of the first big settlements. It was inside the baseball stadium.
Mm-hmm.
And then I just kind of bounced off of it. But it wasn't because I wasn't really liking it. It was just,
Not
I don't
the
know.
time.
Yeah, just not the time.
Yeah, I mean, I remember playing it and thinking this is just more Fallout,
Mhm.
and I had just got off of playing Witcher 3. And so that kind of like getting that experience and seeing like what open world RPGs can be,
Yeah,
it
yeah,
it kind of made me feel a type of way about it. And look,
yeah.
maybe it would have been different if I had played Fallout before Witcher.
You're right. I didn't think about that. That was a good game, and I did not bounce off that one.
I mean, I bounced off of it later on. Like
Witcher 3.
I bounced off in the last biome, essentially. Like the last area you get introduced to. I don't know. I went back to it maybe a couple months ago and then played it through. But I remember I bounced off it because it was like, it's too much.
It's just sometimes you're just in a game too long and you just need to get away for a little bit.
I was in college at the time. I remember like it was one day where my friends like, "Hey, you want to hang out?" I'm like, "Yeah," and I never cut it on again.
That's how it works, though.
Yeah,
that's how it works with the games.
But I replayed it on Switch and beat it there. And the one thing that I didn't realize is I never beat the DLC for it, but the Switch version it cross saves with the PC version.
Oh, that's cool.
So I just took my save from the Switch version and just put it on PC. And I'm like, oh my God. Like, and the PC version looked crazy because the PC, it was only like $10. So I was like, yeah, fuck, I'll buy it.
Yeah.
And it was just kind of surreal because I remember this game running at 30 looking horrible. Cut it on the PC and it looks like God's gift. I'm like, Jesus. Yeah. But back to Fallout. Like Fallout kind of the same effect where it's like the last time I played this was I think at like 1080p with 30 frames per second, and it was choppy even there with a lot of bugs. So cutting it on PC at max settings was very jarring.
Yeah.
And yeah, I forgot how much I love this game. So
yeah. I wouldn't mind going back to Fallout 4 too.
I think it's worth it. I think I think I feel like you could run it probably the same settings. I feel like you run it 4K 60.
Maybe.
Depending on your like if you put it to your TV, you probably could.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, I try because it definitely looks almost like a generational difference in terms of how it looked compared on PS4. So yeah, that's what I've been playing pretty much. I mean, I talked about I've been experimenting also with a little VR stuff, just a couple of VR apps here or there. Nothing really worked.
What apps? What apps?
VR chat, which is not really a video game.
Yeah.
And what was the other one? Obviously Walkabout. Always got to go back. We got to do a party we got to do a party at some point.
Yep. For sure. That's an awesome game. VR chat's cool too. It's like we were talking about the metaverse, which we'll kind of get into that in our next topic, maybe.
Yeah, I mean, hell, might as well get into it. I can't think of a better segue than that. So we had a conversation, I'd like to say 4 months ago. Does that sound about right?
It was one of our it was a very deep episode. We went deep into it, and
I think it was our first. It was our first mailbag.
Yeah, and we had all of us on here, right?
Yeah, all of us were on here,
mm-hmm.
And it was very interesting to see where we were all coming from. And of course, we're talking about cryptocurrency, blockchain, NFTs, and I think that a lot has changed in the past months since we started talking. We were talking about it before. And, I think that one, Facebook changed their name. Like that was the big one that happened in between. But a lot of companies have doubled down on their involvement with NFTs, and especially gaming companies. Like a lot of gaming companies, I believe Take-Two, Square Enix for sure. A lot of companies they really want gamers to accept this. And we've kind of seen a rejection of that. And I guess the question comes in, I guess we can maybe start with NFTs and then maybe work our way down. That probably makes things easier. As far as NFTs, do you feel there's a future for NFTs in gaming? And if so, what does that look like?
So I definitely think there is, but I think it's hard to tell what it looks like because the points we brought up that day were like things like, first of all, you can't, if you have an NFT, you can't carry it cross games. There's just no way someone's going to develop like a shirt in GTA that's an NFT, and you're going to be able to put it on an Uncharted's Naughty Dog.
Can I challenge that actually?
Yeah. Yeah.
Not saying that, yeah, like I agree with that particular statement. I think there is a possibility, and this is me being charitable to NFTs for once. I think there's a charitability that maybe all of, like, let's say the PlayStation exclusives you could do that with. Maybe
Yeah,
all the
yeah.
Xbox
No, and I agree.
exclusives.
That's kind of what I was getting at. I like not like a broad like everything can be an NFT, but like all Ubisoft games,
Mhm,
all all your PlayStation games, things like that. Like even like a big game like say just Fortnite.
mhm,
If they had some kind of NFTs like where their outfits like say you know how they release those characters like they release the Ghostbuster set or whatever. Um, the Ghostbuster set, there's 10,000 of them. They're NFTs, which means what that means is that you own that set and you can put it on a marketplace and you can sell it for whatever you want since it's yours. You own it. You don't have to sell through Epic. You could put it on a on a website on OpenSea or whatever. I could sell it to Thomas, and then now you have access to the to number 557 Ghostbuster outfit. I think that is where we're going.
Well, my
Um,
question to that one is, why would a company let the players do that as opposed to just making it infinite? So they can always be able to buy, like they can always make money off of that skin.
Yeah, like why wouldn't they just say, "Hey, these are unlimited. Just buy it whenever you want."
Because that's how it is now.
I
And they
think to,
make a crazy amount of money doing that.
but I think they could like. So if you think about it, if you had when the Ghostbuster skins came out,
Mhm,
maybe they only sold like 40,000. So what if they made it to where we're going to sell 50,000 of these or 40,000 or maybe just make it a number slightly less than what they anticipate that they would sell in the first 2 weeks anyway. So they're
mhm.
going to get a bulk of those sales. But I think that the money potential for them is just that it fosters a community and it's trending in the way the world is going with NFTs being popular. And just because, yeah, it may not make them more money per se, but it may bolster their community and make it to where people want to buy things. Everything that release, if it's NFT, people will buy it up. So maybe people will buy more thinking that they can hold it and resell it for more value. And it kind of gives that craze mentality to the followers and the fans, kind of almost like Pokemon cards, you know. If it's almost the same argument as why wouldn't you just make the rare Pokemon cards? Why wouldn't you make tons of those and just sell those? But
Uh,
that rarity gives those people that want.
and I there is an argument for scarcity,
Yeah.
because that exists in like many markets, most markets, I assume. I can't say all, but in terms of like Pokemon cards specifically, like yes, they only mass produce a certain amount where they could absolutely produce a lot more, but they don't to create scarcity.
Yeah, they create
and
it. They create
and
scarcity.
and NFTs are the next form of that, where it's
Yes.
like you can make an unlimited amount of this image, but they only make one version of this image
Right.
with this specific code.
Right.
And so it's like, from that side of the spectrum, like I get it. It's just it shows me one of the just like horrors of just like human nature, where we have to create these markets. Like there's like
Yeah,
that's
no, I
just
agree.
how
But that's
we
exactly what we do with Pokemon cards. They
that's how we do with
artificially
everything.
everything. They
Like
artificially create Jordan like Jordan shoes. I mean, well, I guess that's a little different. But
like it
like Pokemon
destroys
cards
the
is a good.
supply demand to me.
Mhm.
It destroys that, where it's like supply demand is you make as much as there is demand.
But Pokemon cards is different though because there's forced scarcity on that.
Well, yeah, but that's NFTs in a nutshell too.
Yeah, exactly. They're
It's
just
it's
like
it's forced scarcity. Like the
it's
market
just
wouldn't
like
exist
Pokemon
without
cards.
that forced scarcity.
Yeah.
Just like in the shoe market, where they you can mass produce these shoes, but you only make a certain amount of them, so
Mhm.
these are more rare.
Mhm.
So it's yeah, it exists. I mean, the big example are tulips. Back in the day, you know that, right? Like that story.
Mm-mm.
So I forgot when this was, but there was a certain point in history where tulips were very valuable.
The flower.
And yeah, the flower. And so people would sell them, and they had this scarcity to them because you can only bloom so many per year in a certain season. And so they became a very rare object of wealth. And it formed the first known financial bubble.
Really?
Because at some point they became useless and they were not as highly valued. Now, I don't know, and I probably need to do more research on why that bubble burst, but the bubble burst. And this one-time appealing product basically turned to shit.
Yeah, but that
And
seems, the thing about that is that was actually true scarcity, because there just simply were not that many tulips. We're talking about forced scarcity with Pokemon cards and NFTs.
but it's also forced importance on it, you know, like, because
Yeah.
the question is, why were tulips more like so important? There's no like tangible reason.
Yeah.
You know, there's no like they bloom 50% brighter than this flower. You know what I'm saying? It's not that. It's somebody said tulips are important, and everybody was like, "Yeah, I agree with you."
So what?
And that's how it is with Pokemon cards. That's how it is
It's
with
everything.
shoes.
It's
That's
honestly,
how it is with NFTs.
it's honestly everything. Like,
Right.
think about every single thing, like crab legs. Crab legs are more expensive because they're more rare. They're harder to get. It's more of a process. Like, it's more expensive. Like, almost everything is supply and demand and scarcity. Let's make things valuable. That's why water is so cheap, because it's so plentiful.
Right.
Imagine if there was only one spring and like water was like liquid gold. Like, you had to, but like
Water is currency.
so, and so what we figured out in the past, this is a huge revelation in the digital world. And this is why cryptocurrency and Bitcoin specifically and NFTs are falling. This is why it's so valuable, because we have finally figured out how to create digital scarcity. We have never been able to do that before. Before, everything online was music, songs, everything was, you could duplicate, you could copy and paste, you could copy and paste every single file, you could copy and paste everything, you could copy, which still is weird, because if it's an NFT, you can still copy the picture if it's an NFT of a cartoon Bored Ape or whatever.
And see, and for me, that's the main problem.
Yeah.
That's where it loses me, because as somebody who's done a decent share collecting shoes, they're like, if somebody brings me a counterfeit version of the shoes, I can clearly state like points on the shoe that make it not legitimate.
I agree.
I'm not a Pokemon card person, but I was a Yu-Gi-Oh person. Like, if somebody brings me a Yu-Gi-Oh card that is a clone of mine, that is not like, there's certain things on it that make it not legitimate. The problem with NFTs are,
you could look at the true NFT and a fake version of NFT and you would not know the difference.
Yeah, unless you are
You look at the
smart enough
code.
to go into the code.
Yeah.
To find it.
I agree. That to me is the thing that throws me off too.
That's the big hurdle. And there's also this like idea that all these billion dollar companies are like pressed to really get this out there, that I think a lot of people are like
turned off by it.
Yeah, it's just like, why? You know, like why are you so pressed about this? And everybody's looking at it of, it's just a way for them to make more money somehow.
So I think that what may turn out to be, and I may be totally wrong on this, NFT art may be, for the rest of our lives, it may still be very valuable. And I'm not sure that it is or is not. But the thing that is so valuable is what you are getting is the chain of title. So this is where, and I've said it multiple times about tennis shoes, this is where I think NFTs are extremely valuable. And houses, like you buy those shoes and you get it from the manufacturer. So from Nike to Thomas, there's it would be, say that they give you an NFT with your shoe, and that NFT, that line of code. So whenever you go to sell them, someone sees that the chain of title went from Nike to Thomas to Cole. And then when I go to sell them, they see that chain of title and they see that I own the NFT. So when I sell them the shoe, I'm also transferring the NFT as well. And the NFT is proof that it is not duplicated. It is not fake. And it shows the chain of title. Like I made the point before, say Michael Jordan signed a pair of shoes and he gave them to you, and he gave you the NFT to that. That's your way of verifying. Look, Jordan, this NFT went from Michael Jordan to me, and I have these shoes, and when I'm going to transfer the shoes and the NFT to you right now. That is your verification.
But the trouble is because NFTs and crypto in general, and I'm not the biggest, hater of crypto. I have crypto. So it's not like I'm like super against it. I do see the value in what it can potentially be. But the biggest thing that crypto has hung its hat on that I feel it's like false advertising is its security. That has been the big thing, the big argument that this is the most secure way to keep your funds. And it's not.
Why do you say that?
Because there have been I just seen so many stories.
Bitcoin's never been hacked, ever.
Not no one has hacked, but people, like, if you lose, like, if somebody can take your computer information,
so that's computer. and that's the thing is, like, I agree with you. It is very, if you're not, it's very dangerous. It's very, it's not secure as far as that goes, but it's all user error.
But that's the thing. But that's the thing. People are flawed.
No, I agree.
Like, I agree. Bitcoin itself, I'm sure, I forgot the name of the guy, but the guy who developed it seemed like
Nakamoto.
Yes, like I forgot his name, but yeah, like he seemed like a very smart person. He, he made this amazing technology, and I don't know if it can be hacked. I don't know, but it's seems very secure just from that standpoint of what he made. Mm-hmm. But everybody is running this off their computers. People are accessing their crypto off their phones. And all it takes is a data leak of any kind. And now your stuff is at risk because nobody is truly 100% safe on the internet.
The only way that there's the only way that they'll get it if your crypto is on an exchange. Coinbase, your Coinbase password can be hacked, and that has nothing to do with Bitcoin, really, because they're storing your Bitcoin. But if you have your Bitcoin in a particular address, it cannot be hacked. Or if you store it in a cold wallet, which is off the internet, and you're not storing it on an exchange, but that's called. So there's a phrase in the crypto world. It's called "not my key, not your keys, not your coins." Meaning is if you trust Robinhood with your crypto or Coinbase, you don't have the actual keys to your crypto. So if they go out of business or bankrupt or whatever, you lose it.
So, and the other thing is, because you said Bitcoin, and yeah, as far as I know, Bitcoin can't be hacked.
It hasn't been yet.
So. There are a lot of cryptocurrencies, mm-hmm. and we cannot say the same and most people don't just keep it in Bitcoin. Like, I have a decent amount of Bitcoin, but I have it kind of spread out, and so I know that the blockchain itself can be hacked.
Well, Bitcoin can't, or hasn't been.
Right, Bitcoin can't. But I guess my thing is, I feel like people are not feeling like 100% safe with this thing that's advertising itself as the safest thing to keep your money.
Yeah, and they're not doing it because they're trusting these third-party applications to hold it for them.
Right, and but at the end of the day, like, that's how you get it into the mainstream. Like,
I know.
As easy as possible.
I agree. It is a flaw, and
the problem is the software was not this was not made to be used by everybody. Mm-hmm. The whole point of it kind of is counter to that. The point of it, right? Like, the point of it is it's almost like a who's who. Like, people like it. I feel like now that, like, it is getting commercials, now that my coveted Staples Center has been renamed to the Crypt, like, this is now, like, everybody knows, like, the basic idea of what a cryptocurrency is. And I know that when technology advances and becomes more mainstream, all the hackers look at all these prey. And I'm seeing, like, multiple stories. I mean, I forgot how much it was, but did you see this story about the couple who like stole billions of dollars in crypto? Mm-hmm. I don't think they had any Bitcoin, but they stole billions of dollars in crypto. And it was like they were smart people, but they were also like idiots too.
Yeah, no.
One of the wife was like a rapper.
Yeah, I know.
It's like and you're looking like, these are the hackers who are taking like all this money, and I feel that because of all of this, crypto as a whole has been getting a horrible rap. And I think that Facebook is paying a price for it doubling down on this metaverse, which kind of is linked to crypto, kind of linked to all this in a way. They are paying a price now. They've seen record low in terms of their stock price. Now, obviously, they're still one of the biggest companies in the world, but ever since they turned to Meta, it has not been met with the best reception in the world. And I made this argument to you before we joined, but is there such thing as being too early to the party? Are we too early?
So we and off air, I did say that PlayStation Home was too early, and it's very obvious. They created a metaverse, and it was an awesome concept. I was all on board, but they were way too early. They were way too early, and it was actually a compelling product. I thought it was pretty cool.
Well, the thing is, also I like how you bring up PlayStation Home, but also Second Life has been around since what, like 2007?
Mm-hmm. It just wasn't called Metaverse. It was just called Second Life.
But that's the metaverse. Like
Yeah,
that.
I know.
What is World of Warcraft?
See, I guess, when I think of metaverse, I think of like living a life online, an alternate universe, kind of.
What separates that from an RPG? I'm asking that genuinely.
Yeah, no, I don't. I think that there's not much, because Final Fantasy 14, people get on there and they get married on there and they live all these social lives and everything. That's a metaverse.
Like, what is like even like a social media? Like, isn't that technically a metaverse too?
I think what generally the metaverse is when I think the way that everyone's looking at it is like more similar to Second Life. You have a avatar that represents yourself in this other world, and you have multiple things you can do in this world. Like, think about like VR, like Oculus. Like, if we log on there at the same time, me and you could get together, hang out, watch a movie, play a game, do whatever. We're in the metaverse, which is like the totality of all of this. And we do different things. We go see a movie, play card games, blah, 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 blah. That, I think, is just like Ready Player One. It's Ready Player One.
So GTA Online.
Kinda, yeah. Yeah. You go in there, you get dressed, and you go to a race and do this. Yeah, I mean, I think it's very loose right now. But
yeah, that's, I guess my point is, like, I feel like nobody really knows what the metaverse is.
Yeah, no one knows.
And I feel like what everybody describes it as has already been created before. And it's called Second Life. And it's a whole bunch of these other like MMOs too, like that you can really describe, and you're like, what's Final Fantasy 14? It's like, and it's weird. Like, I feel like if you ask Mark Zuckerberg what the metaverse is, he's gonna say, I think Horizon Worlds. And it's like, no, it's not. Like, no. Like,
they have kind of admitted that Horizon is not their version of the metaverse. They've kind of come out and said that. They've said that this is like their kind of training ground, but this is not their version of the metaverse. I think what he would say is the closest way to me to describe it is Ready Player One. The way you go into that world and you just hang out with people, and it's literally a life. It's like Second Life is probably the closest thing.
The problem is, like, I don't know what year Ready Player One takes place. I forgot, but like, it didn't seem like it was that far away.
It was like 2070 maybe, or something.
2070? Was this
something like that? Maybe something like that.
I'll look it up, but
yeah,
it's like we are right now. So like where technology is right now, we're so far away.
I agree. But here's the thing, to what you said about them being early. I think, frankly, Facebook is too big to be early. And Elon Musk once said about technology, when he was talking about SpaceX, I can't remember exactly what it was he was talking about, whatever, but he said something that really made sense. He said, people think that technology is just going to advance and we're just going to get more and more better with technology. He said, somebody has to do it. He's like, you got to, like, you can't just sit around and wait for it to happen. Someone's got to do it. So that's kind of Facebook's mentality. They're doing it. When they said that they hired 10,000 more employees. I don't know if now they've cut them or whatever, but
That's the
at one
thing. Like
point,
they hired all those people, and then
now they
now it's
might have
like
cut
the
them all.
layoffs and everything. It's like
But we know
investors. Like at the end of the day, these investors are looking at them like, yeah, that's nice.
they want to see money from it. But
Right.
but we do know that Facebook is throwing billions and billions and billions of dollars behind the metaverse, more so than anybody else is doing that we know
Right.
of. I mean, they literally have changed their bit. Like Google probably has a faction. Amazon probably has a faction. Facebook is full speed ahead, and they've even changed their dang name to Meta. So like they're going for it. And if they can pull it off, which they already have the headset to pull it off, they're in a very good seat to be able to pull this off. They're the biggest social network in the world, and they already have the VR. They have all the building blocks there.
Here's my problem. To me, there is only one company I feel who's capable of doing this correctly.
I don't think there's any but Facebook, but I would like to hear who you think.
Starts with an A.
An A? Amazon?
No.
It's got to be someone with. It's got to be a massive company. It's got to be someone with a lot of. Oh, Apple.
Yeah. They're the ones. They're the ones.
But here's the thing, though.
They don't do it. Because the thing is,
they're not crazy enough though to go full speed. I don't think they're still so.
Right?
Dude, no. And here's the thing:
if you think about the last, I feel like big seismic shift in tech. Like, what would you think? I have an answer, but I'm curious what you.
Well, mine is VR. Mine's VR. And before that, it was Steve Jobs with Apple. But here's the thing:
I'm saying like a specific product, like a specific product that changed the world.
The smartphone.
Yeah, and that was Apple.
But you got to remember though, that was when Apple think differently. They have not, since Steve Jobs has left Apple. Apple has not been innovative at all. They have been
they've just been cake. I mean, if you remember,
they've been iterative. They've been iterative on the next iPad, next iPad, next iPad, next.
Well, they haven't needed to because I
know, but still though,
the iPhone is probably ranking. It's probably like in the top 10 of greatest inventions of my lifetime.
Oh, it's the biggest. It's the
so
biggest.
It's like when you make a top 10 invention of all time, like you get to coast for a little bit and just because they were not $1 trillion company when the iPhone came out.
But think about it. It's been about 20 years since they introduced that phone, and
are they the biggest company in the world? Or how big are they?
Them and Microsoft go back and forth, I think, right?
And before, it wasn't even a concept. When the iPhone came out, they weren't even in the discussion, probably. No. Right? Mm-hmm. So it's like they now are at a point where I feel, can do something revolutionary again.
I would love to see it because they have not shown me that they are that bold anymore. Apple has become this old. You know who is bold now?
Who?
It's Tesla. It's Elon Musk, wherever he's at. That's who's bold.
Is Tesla bold or is Elon Musk bold?
Elon Musk.
Yeah, I like Tesla. I feel like Tesla's kind of been on the same wave Apple, where they make this really innovative car and they just make multiple versions of the car.
Yeah, I'd say where Elon Musk is, because he's in AI, he's in Neuralink and all this kind of stuff.
Yeah, I'd argue he is. Yeah, argue he is very bold. But yeah, no, not Tesla. But yeah, I get what you're saying.
Yeah, but I agree. Apple could do it, but I just think that Apple
and Sony's the other one that I would trust to do it.
I just don't know that Sony has the money to put behind it. They're focusing on. They would have such a small allocation to this. They could not make a substantial dent.
Do you think Sony was as big as Apple when they made the iPhone?
No.
You don't think even then they weren't as big? Like where Apple was then, you think Sony right now is not as big as they were?
I don't think so. Not adjusted.
Do you think it's close? I think it was close. I
don't think it was close.
I think it's close.
I think if you looked at it, Sony was probably like 1/10 of what Apple was at that time.
No, I'm saying right now. Now Sony to then Apple.
I still don't think so.
Okay.
I look at the
market caps, but
if you adjust for inflation, maybe. But you'd have to scale it back for inflation. So if Apple was worth like I don't know, 50 billion, then you'd have to see like what was and Sony is worth. You know what I'm saying? Like you'd have to adjust.
When was that? When the iPhone came out? 2006,
7.
Apple stock
Apple Mark. Yeah, look at them.
Can you look up Sony's? I'm gonna look up
Yeah.
Apple's.
Okay.
All right, I got Apple's.
All right, what was Apple's back then?
It was a $2.59.
No, their market cap.
Oh, market cap. Okay, I was looking at the price. Hold on. All right, their market cap was. Oh, I knew it was going to be a little hard to look for that one. Let me see. Because it's trying to do all of them, like their whole entire
Yeah.
72.98. No, that's not right. Hold on. What is Sony's?
100 billion now, 103 billion.
103 billion? Where did you go to find that? Because I cannot find Apple's.
Well, that's just their current market cap. Apple market cap history. Here we go. There we go. I got it.
You got it?
Here. Yeah.
What's it at?
2007, it was 174 billion.
And what we say Sony's was?
Sony's is 100 billion now, but if you adjust it for inflation, it'd be 70 billion. So Sony is about 40% of what Apple was at that time.
Okay, got it. Okay,
so a little bit less than half.
Okay,
but yeah, but I do see what you're saying. You're saying that Sony could release something revolutionary that could change the world. They're big enough.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's definitely farther than I was implying for sure. But I do think that they could release. It can be they've already done it in a different
PlayStation 2.
Yeah, like PlayStation has to be one of the biggest brands, especially in video games. And so
the thing is with the metaverse, though, is it just has to have so much for it to be. It's going to have a lot of power. It's going to have a lot of planning, a lot of devs behind it. I just think that that's why
Facebook. But no, because what games has Facebook developed?
But it's not about games. It's about the socialization.
I feel like to get the socialization, you need to be able to make a solid experience.
But they're getting these games at Oculus Quest. There's great games. I mean,
let's be honest about these games though, because I've played a good amount of them. You have too. We know if we compare them, like they're not ranking on our games of the year. They're just not.
Let me say this right now. If we could log on the Quest, meet up at your house, like we do, like kind of like an alt space type meetup. I mean, you could hang out. We could seamlessly turn on your TV. Mm-hmm. And whatever content, let's say that you subscribe to Apple, Netflix, and Hulu, and you could broadcast it up there, and we could all hang out and watch that. That is incredible. But then let's say, hey, Cole, you want to walk back here in this doorway with me? We're going to walk back here, and we're going to play mini golf. Mm-hmm. So then we go to Walkabout Golf. We play mini golf. Oh, then let's go in my other room. There's a Beat Saber room here or whatever. And we did this all seamlessly, like almost without loading. Like
here's the problem. Because I get what you're saying, but we can't even do that on like a Valve Index right now.
I know, we're not there.
That thing is $1,000 and you can't do that right now. So how long would that take?
I don't know.
To get it in a wireless format?
Well, I'm thinking like, I don't know, because you'd have to have like an SSD in all of them.
Yeah,
the computing power would be better.
That thing would have to be so powerful.
Yeah.
And you'd have to have all these. You can't even do that right now with the most powerful PC. Like that. Like
I know.
I don't know how far we are from even that. Like if I hook that thing up to my 3070, I don't even know when.
But even if you don't do it seamlessly, though, it seems like they can make a few tweaks, like the sharing of media and us hanging out in a room and being able to share media in a more seamless way would go a long way to creating the metaverse. And like even if you just had that room and we had like a board game table, that mean you could sit and play checkers at while we're watching a movie.
Yeah,
like that right there would be huge. And then if we did want to play Beat Saber, okay, yeah, we got to load into Beat Saber, whatever. But just that common area that where if you could customize your house, I could come over, we could do that. We could go to a movie theater screen, watch a movie, just more seamless than we have now would be massive.
I want it to happen. I really do. Like this is one of like if we could get one of my favorite anime of all time is Sword Art Online. Or no, sorry, not one of my favorites. But one of my favorite anime worlds. The anime is horrible. But the actual like setting is crazy where it's like there's video game releases, like a Skyrim type game, and it's like fully VR where they put the thing over your head and you are literally transported to the world. The bad part is the person who created the game is like, I want everybody to be stuck in here. So if anybody removes the helmet, then they die immediately. And so everybody's trapped in there, and they have to legit live a second life here. You know, besides that piece, you know, to be fully immersed, that's the goal. Like that is where everybody wants this to go. The question is, how far is that away? And I feel that is outside of our lifetimes. Like that. And so you have to scale it back. So what's possible then?
I think what's possible is we get a we get a headset that we put on that's very seamless, very light. I think right now the Oculus Quest is uncomfortable for more than 30 minutes. It's uncomfortable. I think a decade from now, we have something that's a lot more comfortable. That's almost that when you put it on, it doesn't strain your eyes. It doesn't hurt your head. Doesn't give you a headache. I think it's pretty seamless.
But
and then
I feel that. I think that
yeah, in our
being in
lifetime,
a smaller form factor would be best.
Yeah,
but it has like is Oculus Quest do like what is the sales for right now? Like I know it's doing well.
I don't know, but we know it's doing good.
We know it's doing good, and we know it's going to get like a pro version. I believe they like rumors are suggesting that's going to come sooner rather than later.
Project Cambria, I think, is what they're calling it.
So we know we're going to get a pro version of that. Are we going from because right now we're at like PlayStation 2 graphics for VR. Like, are we going to get to PlayStation 3 maybe next? Is that next? Or, you know, like that's where I sit where I'm like, where
is the point of diminishing returns at? Like, at what point do we get to a point where the graphics are so good where it doesn't really matter much anymore?
I think we've honestly maybe hit that with just regular.
That's what I'm saying.
Gaming. I think that has at this point where I'm looking at some games, I'm like, you can only add so many textures and so many.
Yeah, you know, I agree.
You can only make the resolution so good, you know, to the point where I'm not going to be able to tell what's.
So where are we now with VR? With like the Oculus?
Oh, we are way far away from.
No. But I'm saying like with the Oculus Quest, where are we on the scale? Are we? I
think we're PlayStation PS2 right now. Like I think we're
between PS2 and PS3. Like I think we're in the middle.
I think the best experience, like Half-Life Alyx, I'd argue is a PlayStation 4 level game in terms of what you.
And that's powered by PC,
right? So I think that is at best, and I'm being generous. That's a 5-year away thing to ever be running on like an Oculus Quest.
Okay, so I think if we're at PS2 type graphics, PS2 generation, let's say we're at the end of the PS2 life cycle, which ended when 2005. So
yeah,
15, 17 years. So I think that's honestly about right. I think we're about 17 years from having PS5 graphics in an Oculus headset.
And my thing is
17 years is a long time.
Yeah, I don't think that you can justify, like, I don't think that we might look in 17 years and Facebook is not the dominant VR company, even though they were the first to market. Yeah. I mean, who was the first to do movies? Who's one of the first companies to do movie streaming? Not Netflix, Blockbuster. Like Blockbuster did it first, but it was not.
They did it about the same time as Netflix. They were all there about the same time.
No, I think Netflix was mostly doing the DVD delivery at that point in time. Yeah. I think Blockbuster was actually. I think Netflix was founded around the same time that Blockbuster started that, but I'm pretty sure Blockbuster started that because they were powered by what's the company everybody talks about that's like horrible?
Gaikai.
No, it was the one that they were an energy company. It's off the tip of my tongue. It's like Ken Lay. Enron. Enron.
Enron.
Enron. They were like Enron was helping fund that project. And that's why it went belly up, because obviously when Enron went belly up,
That's
that went
crazy.
belly up. And
I'd like to see. I
so
think there was a documentary on that. I'd
yeah,
like
the
to see
Enron
that.
documentary. Yeah, it's one of my favorite documentaries. I love that thing. But yeah, it's like that's how close Best Buy was to actually, being on top of the streaming stuff. I think they were a little too early to market. I don't think technology was there yet, because we were just entering Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah.
So it's like a lot of households were still using dial-up. So
Yeah.
I think that Facebook might be. I feel like if you ask me, I think Facebook might have been too early.
I think that they're going to push. You're right. They may not be the leading dominant metaverse, but they dang sure will push the envelope. They will. They're putting a lot of time and a lot of money and hiring some of the best developers in the world to do it. They're going to make some ground on it for sure.
I hope they do. I think Facebook I feel like they've gotten a bad rap in the past couple months. And because of that bad rap, they've suffered huge on the stock market. But I think it has potential to pay off.
Think about this. They're one of the biggest companies in the world. Like if Google said we are changing our entire fundamental business, we are changing our name from Google to Meta, and we're going full speed metaverse.
Mm-hmm.
Like hell, that's a lot of power, a lot of money going behind metaverse. That's what Facebook's doing. It's just Facebook has got a bad rap, but I don't know. I mean,
Ben wouldn't buy an Oculus because of Facebook. I want to make a Facebook account. So they're dropping that. So I like that they're actually like listening to people, and they're trying to get more people into buying them.
Look, I'm a fan.
We keep calling it an Oculus Quest, but it's not even called that anymore.
Did you ever see the movie The Social Network?
Yeah,
it's incredible, really, really good. So there's a scene where Justin Timberlake is talking to some people at a party, and he's like, "Look, we lived on farms, then we lived in cities, then we lived on," what did he say? He said, "Now we're living on the internet," talking about how they were putting their lives on the internet and everything, which is true. The next step to that is now we're going to live in the metaverse, and Facebook sees that. But you got to give credit to Facebook. They see where they're a social network company. Their main thesis is trying to connect people. Yeah. And connect everybody socially. What's the next step of that? The next step is not, they've already done it on phones. They've done it on PCs. They've done it on everything. The next step is doing it virtually, connecting people. And they have the foresight to see that, and they're going forward with it, and they're doubling down on it. And I think it's pretty awesome. I think they're going in the right direction. No matter how much criticism they get, I think they are absolutely going the right direction. Whether they're number one in 10 years or not, they know that that's where things are going. Think how people are so sucked into their phones now. The next logical leap is they're going to be in the phone, like they're in the world. Which,
yeah. I want that to be the case, and that's the future that I would want to envision. I just don't know how far we are from everybody, where it becomes a phenomenon.
Yeah, no, I agree. That is the golden question, and I think it's to the point where we are reaching we're reaching kind of a zeitgeist, which is kind of our other topic, but we are reaching a zeitgeist with VR. I mean, people are starting to do it a lot more, but I agree with you. It's not like the smartphone phenomenon, which just took off. Everybody had a smartphone. We are going to reach that point with VR, but I don't know. I don't know for sure if it's in the next 5 years or the next 15. I'd have no idea. But at some point, there will be a time when people come home and they put on their VR headset. And honestly, they may wake up in the morning. There's going to be a world where people will wake up in the morning and put on their VR headset and be in it all day because they'll be working in it.
Have you ever seen WALL-E?
Yeah, is that I can't remember. Was that what
it was? Yeah, like they escaped. They went to another. I think the Earth. Something happened to the Earth, and so like people had to escape on the ship.
The ship, yeah.
And they were just like they all got fat. And like their whole life was automated.
Yeah,
that's the dark version of that. But I think there could be a lot of positive implementation.
Yeah, I do too. It's just like smartphones. There's a dark version to smartphones and people not being present, being sucked in, But there is it's nice to have connectivity too. But yeah, I do see a world where people wake up, they put it on, they go to work all day, and then at the end of work, they meet up with their friends in the metaverse and they hang out.
Yeah, I mean, look, and we can end it. We can end the topic here, but one of my greatest like gaming memories is definitely when we stumbled upon that
That was
speakeasy
awesome,
in
man.
Altspace. That's
Yeah.
one of my favorite gaming memories. So there
Hey,
is a
we're gonna be
certain
old men
magic
one
to it,
day, hanging out in the metaverse. We're gonna be
right?
talking about. Do you remember that was the first taste in the metaverse when me and you
Yeah,
walked
like
into the speakeasy?
yeah, we're gonna remember that when we are fighting a gorilla in the metaverse.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And we're gonna be like, oh my god, you remember we just stumbled upon that speakeasy? It's good. I feel like that's gonna come. It's just whether I'm going to be 30 when that happens, or I'm gonna be 50 when that happens. But
Yeah, or
we
80.
will see. We shall see. Give me one moment. Let me get my food from outside, and then we can move on to our next topic. Okay.
All right, cool.
Thank you for your patience, anybody listening or watching. I think Cole went up to get something to drink, probably. But thank you for tuning in, of course, to the Dukes of Gaming podcast. And obviously, we do our stream every Saturday as well. We stream from about 9 to 11 or 12, give or take. So if you want to watch us play a video game, kind of have a similar format to this, but just a little more relaxed. But we still have the same deep conversations, just like we had here about NFTs. And yeah, we do that every Saturday, and then we try to get this podcast out every single Monday. So just be on the lookout on your favorite podcast service. We're also releasing on YouTube as well. And that's my shameless plug, of course. Of course, I am your Duke of Anime, Thomas. And yeah, I just been also a game that I'm looking forward to a bit. And we're gonna do a Ben's book club on it. I'm looking forward to talking about Kentucky Route Zero. We're gonna have that to you relatively soon. This is one of the weirdest games I have personally ever played. It's a point and click, but I feel like I'm doing a disservice calling it a point and click. And so, if to all of our visual listeners out there, we have an appearance from Cole's dog. I'm going to ask for his dog's name as soon as he comes back. But yeah, Cole's dog's in the background trying to make himself known. He might get on the mic. But yeah, Kentucky Route Zero, it's such a weird game. I don't want to get too deep into it just because I want to talk about it during Ben's book club, of course, but yeah, I feel if you like something like Grim Fandango or something of that nature, you might like that. But we'll talk about that a bit later because I have Cole back. I have my food. We had an appearance from your dog, Cole.
Really?
Yeah, what's your dog's name?
Sadie.
Sadie. It was funny because okay, I want to ask you.
Wait, so what happened?
So like I was just filling some time in, just filling some time, just plugging some of our doing a little shameless plug. And then as I'm talking, I look and I'm like, oh, Cole's dog's making an appearance. Because I saw the chair move and I was like, why is the chair move? Is Cole back? And I looked, I'm like, oh.
She
like,
was laying right here. There's a storm here, so she's like hiding over here under the desk.
Got you. Well, hopefully that passes for Sadie. But yeah, let's move on to our second topic and our main topic. We've been trying to talk about this for the past 2 weeks, but now that we have you back, because it was your idea, we'll talk about some of the biggest zeitgeist moments in gaming history. Now, what we define as zeitgeist, and you can let me know if you agree or disagree, it doesn't have to be like the greatest game of all time dropped on this date. It's just a gaming moment where gaming, it seemed like our little like insular culture seeped into the greater world.
Yes.
Is that a good way to put it?
Yes, exactly. They pierced the veil of the gamer world and breached into everybody else.
Right. And
Which
so
which in gaming it hadn't happened that often. I don't
I
think.
yeah, I feel like it's happened more. I feel like it's happened a decent amount though. I feel like
And it's
there's
happened more lately. Because like if you look at even like you got to imagine, which we were too young to even remember, but Super Mario Brothers released on the NES had to be a pretty big cultural zeitgeist moment.
for sure.
Um,
I think even something like Pac-Man,
yeah,
like
yeah, like
Pac-Man releasing in arcades. Like my
yeah,
dad does not like video games, but my dad likes two games. Pac-Man and Galaga.
yeah,
Those
yeah,
are, if you talk about video games, that's where his knowledge ends. And so like those are definitely like zeitgeist moments. Yeah, like you said, Super Mario, probably the first big home console game exclusive.
yeah. And but from then, 1984, 85, whenever Mario came out, I think it was 85.
Mhm.
From then, I don't think that you could really argue there was that any really zeitgeist moments until
E.T.
recently. ET was in the 80s. That was before. That was our
Oh, you
charting.
said 90s.
85. I'm well from 85 from Mario Brothers. From
I
Mario
think
Brothers.
Doom was pretty big, right?
No, it didn't. I
I feel
don't
like
think it.
Doom was. I feel like Doom was pretty big because people were really
Doom was
like,
big, but it wasn't
because
like
people
a.
didn't, because a lot of people didn't like Doom because of all the violence.
Yeah,
And Doom
well
was one of
then
those
you get like
games that, like, I because also you remember like, and this has been even the case like today, like politicians, specifically right wing politicians, but not saying anything. They've been very against video games for a long time. And I think Doom and Wolfenstein were the first of those games, and Mortal Kombat as well,
Mortal
where
Kombat.
it's
Yeah,
like you're hearing about video games outside of the culture.
yeah, but that's kind of like. I mean,
Like I'm saying
Grand
like
Theft Auto was
zeitgeist in
in.
a bad way.
Yeah, yeah. I was kind of thinking more of less like because I think people back then were like, "Oh, it's a violent video game," and like, I don't know. I don't know that it was really like for me the zeitgeist moments. I'll go ahead and just throw them out there. These are the
Okay.
ones that I think are. I think the Wii Sports. Wii Sports. We can get. We'll dive in each of these, but like a game that something that like everyone's talking about, everyone has played. Your grandparents are playing it. Your parents are talking about it. You go places. It's everywhere.
Yeah.
And I don't think that Doom and Wolfenstein were like that in the 90s. I think that they were offhanded. People talked about it because of
Well, I
that,
think
but I don't think everybody knew about it and talked about it.
I think also one is Grand Theft Auto.
Yeah, GTA was,
And
but
I
it still
feel like
wasn't like a
that
game that
kind
was.
of goes into my Doom argument
Yeah,
in
it falls
that,
into that category.
yeah, like that's why I think Zeitgeist has to include both the positive and the negative.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Yeah.
because mine are all seemingly positive.
Yeah, I
Um,
think because when you think of Zeitgeist, especially even like San Andreas, where it's like people are on the news talking about, oh, the hot coffee mod,
yeah.
it's like I feel like that is a Zeitgeist moment, but it's not a positive moment. I think
Yeah,
Skyrim's another one. I feel like Skyrim, I don't, obviously we don't know like stats on it, but I think Skyrim is a game that probably got a lot of people who were never into gaming, like into gaming.
I still don't think it compares to Pokemon Go, Wii Sports, Fortnite. Those three are the
What is
only
the
three
common
games.
denominator with those three? There's one common denominator with all three games you listed.
One common
It
denominator.
starts with an F.
Family friendly.
No, that's a really good guess, but no. Damn. It's like, yeah, that's a good one too. Free.
Free. Yeah,
They all were free.
you're right. Yep.
So I
That,
think
that
that is a sizable thing between them and Skyrim, because Skyrim there was a $60 barrier to entry.
yeah.
So that probably did separate it from getting to the heights of those three for sure.
And think about the time like. I mean, let's just start with it. You said you're one of yours is you mentioned Wii Sports, right?
Yeah, Wii Sports was definitely the first one in my lifetime that I recognized.
Yep. And
Where it's like,
I think that's right because I think it was. I think Wii Sports was really the first time that in my lifetime too that I recognized that games have transcended our gamer culture and everybody's doing it. Your parents are doing it. It was in retirement homes. Everybody you had talked to had tried Wii Sports.
And it died too. It died a horrible death.
It
Like,
did, but for a while there was a period there of like 6 months. Wii's were so. Remember how hard it was to get Wii's because everybody wanted one
it was crazy. It
because of Wii
was
Sports.
near. I feel like the PlayStation 5 will go down in history as one of the most unobtainable consoles at release of all
But
time.
that's because of chip shortage. I
Yeah,
don't
for
think it's
sure.
for the demand that the Wii had at
I
that
think
time.
it's a mix of both.
It's
I
a mix
think
of both, but I don't think there's.
I don't know. I feel like it's hard to calculate the demand. I don't think there's any metric we could use.
Yeah,
for
there's no
that.
way to. But
But I think
feel
it's very.
like
I think they're very close.
I feel like the Wii though at that point, everybody and their sister and their grandmother and their parents wanted a Wii.
Well, I
And
think
now,
also there's like the ramifications of the Wii like being as successful is it introduced so many other people to gaming.
yeah, that's
I
right.
think the PlayStation 5 gets to reap that benefit.
Yeah,
That now it's opening up to an even bigger market than what was there back then. But I think the Wii, like the Wii Sports and the Wii coming out, was super like important to game history.
yeah.
And also the Switch as well. The Switch is also one of those things where it's like, I know people who saw the ad and was like, okay, that might get me to get a video game system. I know something like my one of my best friends, she doesn't really game like that. And she was talking about like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting a Switch. I'll give you my old one, and she was like, she had never really played video. I knew her all her life, and she's never played video games. And she, I guess at this point, like so many people have Switches. Like Switches are now like that one. They're now the Wii, where it's like people just have that, even if they don't really play video games.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that the Switch is one as well. I think Animal Crossing is another one too.
I don't think that those three. Nothing. Look. I remember playing. I remember when Fortnite. When I knew Fortnite was big, I was at a show, and I sell my headbands, and we had them all on the table, and there was a group of like. I don't mean this to sound. I don't know. Like, I don't mean this to sound sexist or anything, but there was a group of high school girls, and all of them were talking about playing Fortnite. And in my lifetime, I've never heard a table of high school girls talking about any video game. I don't know about you. I mean, not saying that high school girls don't play.
I feel like more so, yes. Like for the most part, any girl. I always just assume if I'm talking to a female, from high school to even now, like they don't play video games. I just assume that, you know what I'm saying? It might be sexist to think that, but I assume that I'm gonna let them bring the video games up. Not me. But but I think Fortnite was one of those where the whole class is playing.
No, and I can even tell you from myself, my nieces, both my nieces didn't play video games. Mm-hmm. They were all about Fortnite. And I was so enamored by the fact that it was so popular. I would ask them things. I was like, so who is everybody playing at your school? They're like, yeah, our teachers are playing. We're playing. I was like, so all your friends are playing this? They said, yes, it's all everybody's doing. Everybody's playing Fortnite. Like the whole school. And like that transcends games because not only because, most of the people aren't gamers, or at least maybe more so now than when I was young. But look, my brother was playing. I had other older people that were downloading Fortnite and playing Fortnite. I mean, it was massive at that time. And so was Wii Sports. Wii Sports brought people in that weren't playing, and the other one was Pokemon Go. Driving down the street
was big. That was probably the biggest.
Yes, when you drove down the street and you saw cars of people at random places, and they're all gathering together to catch a Pokemon, it was about a 3-month period, I think, or 2-month period.
Restaurants would literally advertise like, "Yeah, we have Charizards here." Like, it's like what? Like that was honestly insane. Like that
was insane.
It was short lived because I feel like it only lasted for a summer.
It did only last for a summer, but what a magical summer. It was awesome. Like, even I remember being with my brother and sister-in-law who don't play games at all. And Michelle, my wife, who doesn't play games at all. We all had Pokemon Go on our phones. We were all hanging out at my in-laws' house, and it was a Friday night, and we said, we're about to go ride around and catch Pokemon. And we all got in the car, we get snacks, we ride around, and we go to the Pokestops. There's like 4 of them in town. And when you got there was 150 cars at each one, and everybody's out on their phones just walking around.
Yeah, that was
It's
a
crazy.
that was a phenomenon. That was definitely a phenomenon. There,
It
I don't think we'll ever get anything quite like Pokemon Go because
No.
half of it is in the name.
It was nostalgia too. Yeah.
Because I feel like even like if you didn't grow up with Pokemon, I feel like
You
most people know what Pokemon
look,
are.
I never played Pokemon. I was never a Pokemon gamer. I have never played a Pokemon game.
But you
But
know what Pikachu is though.
oh yeah. I know Pikachu and I know Charizard. I know
Yeah, like
these the
so,
Squirtle and so, just because I'm a gamer
and
and
they
like
were smart to only include like the first batch of Pokemon. Like they were
mhm,
very smart. That was probably the most key decision in that whole thing.
it
Because
was
if
genius.
you start listening to all these Pokemon nobody knows, then it's like, and I'm sure that had to be a conversation too, because I'm sure some people are like, well, we gotta advertise the Pokemon in our current video games. And some smart person in the room was like,
Nah.
no.
Yes.
No,
You go with the
we only
original.
need Butterfree, we only need Charizard, we only need Bulbasaur. And that has to be one of the biggest apps in the world. Like it has, and not now, but like when it came out, like the amount of people that had that downloaded to their phone, like, it has to be one of the most downloaded apps ever.
Mm-hmm.
But back to Fortnite really quick. One of my favorite gaming memories, it happened in 2017, I believe. So right in the prime of Fortnite. I feel like that's like the prime Fortnite year, 2017.
Yep.
And I remember I went over I went to North Carolina to see some family. And my little cousin, she was like, "Hey, you trying to play Fortnite?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I'll play Fortnite with you." I brought my PS4 with me, so I plug it into the TV. I'm playing. She is massacring people. It's bad. Like
She's probably on an iPhone too playing.
she was at the whole thing. She was on. I did not realize. Like, I'm thinking that she has like a PlayStation 4 and Xbox hooked up playing.
Playing on
She
touchscreen.
is on her touch screen. I'm like,
That's what my nieces were doing. They were putting people under the table playing on a touchscreen. I couldn't even comprehend how they were doing it. It didn't even make sense.
I just take it up to, if you don't know what a better experience is, you're not gonna miss it.
Yeah.
If you don't know how good a controller feels, you're not gonna miss that.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that there are some people who are coming of age who have never picked up a game controller, but they play Fortnite. And that idea is so crazy. Like Fortnite, I feel like Fortnite and Pokemon Go to me are tied for different reasons, just because Pokemon Go was such a big lightning in the bottle moment. And Fortnite, I feel, has never been as big as Pokemon Go was in that summer, but has maintained such dominance.
It maintained that dominance longer than Pokemon Go did. Like I'd say the
It's still
Fortnite
the
peak.
biggest game in the world.
Yeah, it is still, but like that crazy dominance, it was there for about 6 months. Like that
I don't
crazy
think it was
dominance.
ever as big as Pokemon Go.
No, it never was. But Pokemon Go's peak lasted probably about a month and a half. A month.
Yeah, it did.
Fortnite's peak lasted about 6 months where everybody continued to play and all that. Wii Sports probably lasted about 6 months to a year where that was
I
massive.
think a year.
A
And the
year.
thing is, it had a residual effect because everybody had a Wii. Like something,
Mhm.
like imagine all like the Wiis that got abandoned because nobody
Oh.
ever picked them up again.
Imagine how many people bought a Wii and didn't buy a game because they just want a Wii Sports.
It was the Wii Sports machine. You're
Yeah,
paying
Wii
you're
Sports
paying
machine, yep.
$200 for this Wii Sports machine. That's all.
Yep. Yep.
But I'm trying to think. Would you say GTA 5's another one?
I would say GTA 5 is a moment in gaming history that is massive, but I don't think it doesn't touch those levels.
I think you're right.
I mean, to me,
I
GTA
know
5
I had to bring it up, but
I
I
know.
think I'd agree
Like
with you.
GTA 5 is one of the biggest moments in gaming history, right? But we're talking about these particular moments that absolutely blew the doors off of video game world and just took the main world by storm. And I don't think that there's an argument that there are any other games beside these three.
I'm trying.
I mean, if Grand Theft Auto
I
can
think
do it, then
ET is a
nothing
moment. I think ET is a moment. ET legit like shut down the games industry for a bit.
can. Yeah, maybe that may have been one.
Like I'd argue that's one as well.
But modern day, I don't. Now, if you do want to get into like the big cultural, I mean, Grand Theft Auto did when it did come out, it broke the record for the biggest selling single piece of media entertainment ever.
Yeah.
which is pretty friggin' massive. That's pretty daggone.
Well, it's also because its price is $60.
Yes, yeah, exactly. $60 and
That's
sold.
the big diff, because it wouldn't, if it was priced equally with the like movies, then no, it wouldn't even be close probably. But yeah, like I feel like it deserves an honorable mention, but yeah, I wouldn't rank it with the other games that we mentioned. And I feel like we're missing a big one. I feel like we are missing a big one. I'm trying to go back in my gaming lexicon. Like,
so like the 20.
it's like Final Fantasy VII is a big moment too, but it's like, yeah, I agree with you. It doesn't reach that.
It wasn't like people's parents weren't talking about Final Fantasy VII.
Right.
And like,
right.
I mean, see, we could do another podcast on the biggest moments in gaming history.
Yeah,
and that's a different conversation. And Final Fantasy VII, Metal Gear Solid, you know.
You don't think Animal Crossing reaches that though?
Nah.
I feel like Animal Crossing reaches it, because Animal Crossing was the same.
Here's
I feel
the
like
test, Thomas.
Animal
Here's the
Crossing
test.
has to be like the like.
You want to
reason why a lot of people buy
you want to know the test? You go out and you talk to blue collar workers, and you talk to grandparent age people, and you ask all of them, what is Animal Crossing? Have you ever heard of this? They would have not a damn clue what you're talking about. But you said, have you ever heard of this game called Fortnite? Every one of them has heard of Fortnite. Have you ever? Do you remember this game back 15 years ago? It was called Wii Sports, and you'd play bowling in your living room. Oh, hell yeah. They all knew that one. And guess what? They all remember Pokemon Go, where people are out in their cars catching animals on their phone. That's the test. Like,
I do think you raised a really good argument. I do think that's fair. The last one I have to bring up before we close is Elden Ring getting close to this.
No. Unfortunately, no. Like, think about it. If Grand Theft Auto doesn't encapsulate this, how does Elden Ring?
I agree with that. I would agree that it's not there.
Like, I go talk to my parents. What is Elden Ring? They ain't got. They don't know that. What the
okay?
hell
If that's the bar, then yeah. If that's the bar,
I'm talking about like,
yeah.
You know, we're talking about these moments that get outside of the gaming sphere.
Yeah. That
VR. So I do think that VR is hitting that. But it's not. It's more of like a. It's like a.
I feel like VR is being forced upon people, like more than anything. Like, it doesn't seem like I don't think Pokemon Go even needed an ad.
But VR is getting to the point, and it's not one particular. Like, we're talking about particular games, and like VR is more of a.
Would you argue that during the initial, like, VR sales equal like any of like the downloads of these apps we've just named?
No,
it's because that's the thing. I feel like VR is something that everybody's heard of, but it's like, I don't, in terms of investment and people like actually like getting into it, I don't think it's even close.
No.
I wouldn't even give VR that credit, to be honest. Like, I don't think it's there yet. I think AR is there, because that's Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
I think VR is one of those like things that was a big kept secret in gaming, and they are trying to push it out to get as many people as possible.
Yeah, we're pushing on people.
They're like, we've invested too much money. We need people to buy this shit.
And the experiences, people talk about it because the experience is so unique. Like, parents are falling in, people are falling over, and
it's one of those things that I feel like when somebody experiences it, it is like, oh wow, like this is
unforgettable. It's compelling.
But I don't think enough people have gotten into it where it's on the same level as a Pokemon Go.
No.
In a Fortnite.
It's going to take some kind of, it's going to take the metaverse of being able to hang out with your friends and be real seamless. I don't know. It's going to be something like that. And I don't know when it's going to come. I think it's going to be another 5 to 10 years probably.
I agree. And I think that's a great way to end our podcast. Again, I want to thank everybody for listening or watching the Dukes of Gaming podcast. You can listen to us on your favorite podcast service. Watch us on YouTube. Watch us live on Twitch every Saturday, starting usually at 9 p.m. Leave a like, a review, a comment, anything to help support the show. You can even email us at therealdukesofgaming@gmail.com. Have your question read live on air by our Duke of Rocket League, Cole. We'll be coming at you next week with some more hot takes. So make sure you start your week right with the Dukes of Gaming. And with all that being said, I bid thee farewell.